So again, this is a recording of my class Intro to Content Creation, and apparently my microphone was turned off. So um, I'm just backtracking and getting started again. So if you didn't know, I'm Patrick, again, one of the Media Lab assistants and technology instructors at the library. And yeah, this class is my Intro to Content Creation again, and we do not need to go through any housekeeping notes. And yeah, let's just get into it. Let's get into the agenda. So, for the next hour or so, just wanted to go give an overview of what content creation is, why explore content creation, the formula for success, um, blogging and vlogging, which is a pretty much very similar. Well, the four of these, the following are very similar. So, blogging and vlogging, podcasting, and live streaming. And then I'll get into some forms of monetizing, and then if we do have some attendees, then I can do some questions and answers, and then lastly conclude with closing thoughts. So content creation. What is it? So, according to Wikipedia, content creation is the contribution of information to any media, and most especially to digital media for an end user audience in specific contexts. Content is something that is to be expressed through some medium as speech, writing, or any of the various arts for self-expression, distribution, marketing, and/or publication. Typical forms of content creation include maintaining and updating websites, blogging, article writing, photography, videography, online commentary, the maintenance of social media accounts, editing, and distribution of digital media. A Pew surveys describe content creation as the creation of the material people contribute to the online world. So, content creation includes quite a bit, but I'd like to emphasize a few that have a similar structure and paves way for you to share ideas that you're passionate about, not to mention monetize from it. So, why explore content creation? Well, with passion involved, content creation theoretically comes more naturally than other types. It is not forced, like studying something you don't want to, but more in line with interests that make it much easier to explore. And there's minimal cost, if any, to get started. I'm talking about blogging, vlogging, podcasting, and the newest of them all, live streaming. Blogging is like online journaling, while vlogging is the video version. Podcasting is like kind of like an audio only version, um, while live streaming is a cross between blogging and podcasting. They are all designed to get the word out about your particular passion and or hobby. Again, live streaming is the newest and still in its earlier stages of development. They're all forms of self-expression, and while you can express however you want, there's a foundation to follow that echoes business principles. And even more interesting, this can all translate into an extra source of income. If you're lucky, it's possible to turn it into a full-time opportunity. You hear about people who are full-time YouTubers. This is pretty much the same thing. And what this all means is that you can turn something you're truly passionate about into a full time opportunity. So let me repeat that. You can turn something you're passionate about into a full time opportunity. Just wanted to mention about some other points. This actually is from my class on blogging. So you make authentic and deep connections with like minded folks. And I'll get into this in a little bit. It's when you develop a community around your content, that's probably one of the most important things. Um, but you aren't limited to a local group of people. You can literally target an audience that's worldwide, which is um, really mind blowing. And once you have this group, you can turn it into a business opportunity. Um, Content creation is a way to an authentic living and something more in line with who you are. And last but not least, it's practice for everyday skills such as speaking, interactions, And there are a number of other different um, subtleties involved that I felt I benefited from, doing this stuff. So let's move on. The formula, and I was talking about this earlier, that there seems to be a way to succeed with this, especially this four, or these four. But again, blogging, vlogging, podcasting, and live streaming. It's really important to establish a brand, to have some kind of consistency, and to keep your content related to a subject of choice. You want your audience to know you for something in particular, and that can be anything. Maybe it could be crafting or cooking. Maybe it's just a specific cuisine or ingredient. Do you see where I'm going with this? Maybe it's a collection of sorts, like Beanie Babies or Cabbage Patch Kids, or maybe it's a book club. That's really up to you to determine, but it should definitely be something that you find very easy to talk about with others. A good rule of thumb is if you were to drop everything at a moment's notice, what is it that you can talk about easily? Something interesting to share with others, but especially something that lights you up. That should be a strong indicator for what your content might be. Once you have your topic, you can produce varying content. It is recommended that you produce content consistently at specific intervals so that your audience knows what to expect, when to expect something from you. Just like in real life, your audience will gravitate to you, not just because of content or thoughts, but can connect with you because of how you present yourself. At the heart of this all is getting creative. This leads to establishing a brand and develops a loyal following, or tribe, as the internet marketer Seth Godin calls them. It takes a lot of work, but once you've carved one, a niche for yourself online, and two, you've developed strong relations with your tribe, you can consider monetizing your content creations. I should note, though, that going into any content creation platform with the intent of making money is the less favorable approach. You don't want to go into it expecting anything other than seeing your own progress, because it can be awfully discouraging at the beginning if there's minimal interest. If you're really passionate about creating content, you need to keep at it and continue developing your craft. Develop your rhythm, develop your style. At the very least, you've learned things about the platform and you can add this skill to your resume. We all bring a unique perspective to the table, and if you can share some things that others find valuable, then this will help you stand out and get to that next level. That said, let's take a look at the four forms of content creation as mentioned before. So, blogging. Blogging, again, boils down to online journaling. Again, you need to have articles published when you say you will, and that's up to you. It could be every week, it could be every month. Through writing, your audience will get to know you better, and as you establish your personality. With blogging, I definitely recommend using WordPress, which is a web application and something I've taught here at the library. I'd like to, if you'd like to view my introductory course, you can visit the link, which I have included on um, the slide here. Um, but know that WordPress is by far the best for blogging. There's so many features that it comes with, and it is usually a free installation if you have your own web server. To get started, you can check out WordPress.com to explore a free account. But again, if you have access to a full installation, go for it. There are things called plugins that add additional functionality to enhance your blog's visibility and potential. There are definitely other platforms to consider, but it boils down to your audience. There's another platform called Medium, and if you knew your audience was already there, then use that. The same goes with others like Tumblr, Ghost, or even the old LiveJournal or Blogger. You must research to know where your audience is, but by default, I'd start with WordPress. You will need to have some kind of analytics like Google Analytics to help you monitor your audience. And when you discover what your popular posts are, you can further refine your future content. For instance, let's say that you wrote about the most recent iPhone and you have a lot of visitors for that. It'd be in your best interest to think about what direction you go from there. Maybe you'd write about a new accessory that you just discovered. With blogging, comments should be enabled. Please be wary of spam, haters, and bots. With authentic comments, do your best to address each and every one of them. Um, I am overall okay with following up on comments, but if you can address 100% of them, that'd be great. Um, but it's through this comment section that you build your community, or as I was hinting at earlier, um, your tribe, as Seth Godin calls them. So just wanted to mention some examples. So here we have Tim Ferriss and Mashable. And if you didn't know who these two were, Tim Ferriss is the author of the 4 Hour Work Week. And this is a very popular um, kind of productivity principle and theory. But he's really well known. He's an author and he's made it because of blogging. And I believe he was doing something else prior to that, but um, let's see. He founded something called Brain Quicken back in 2001, um, which is an internet-based nutritional supplements business. He then sold the company, which is known as Body Quick, to a London-based firm in 2010. But this this business utilized this principle that I was talking about, and it all started from blogging. Mashable is the internet website started by Pete Cashmore from Scotland back in 2005. Um, you should know that early iterations of the site was a simple WordPress blog. So he developed Mashable from WordPress, and that's going over my head because Mashable is such a huge organization, an internet organization, and let's see what other notes that I have from them. But it sounds like fame came quickly. Time magazine noted them as one of the 25 best blogs of 2009. And even though this was a couple of years ago, as of 2015, end of 2015, it had over 6 million Twitter followers and 3.2 million fans on Facebook. In 2016, it acquired YouTube channel Cinefix from Whale Rock Industries. So, really, all developed from a WordPress blog. Unbelievable. So, let's get into vlogging a little bit. Vlogging is taking the entire concept of blogging to video. So, instead of writing, you're just filming yourself. Maybe you're just talking to the camera and uploading it. But this is the most basic form of vlogging. But know there are other ways to present yourself on video. You could have like your own um, online show. Just kind of capture events that you're doing. Um, even just doing not chores, but running out to do errands and stuff like that. Um, Again, think creativity and let yourself explore. This is a effective material for a YouTube channel or Instagram account. Comments are contained usually within the platform, and again, it's really important to address all comments that are submitted. It allows this community that I was talking about to continue to develop. And so let me get into some examples. So Lily Singh actually started from YouTube, and I think she was just doing it for fun initially, and then she started to develop a personality on her YouTube channel. She started to be a bit more um, comical with her shows or with her videos, and it turned into this opportunity for her to host a show on one of the major networks. It's called A Little Late with Lily Singh. So if you know who she is, like she started from YouTube, she started from vlogging, and it's amazing. So she's doing really well, and she's definitely you know making a niche for herself. If you follow any of the food bloggers or food presence online, one of the big names out there is Bon Appetit. And if you didn't know or if you didn't follow the channel at all, Claire Saffitz, who was nicknamed Half Sour Saffitz, she was doing all these really entertaining videos for the Bon Appetit kitchen, recreating a lot of snack foods and other things that we would eat for as like snacks. So she would recreate things like a Snickers bar or Oreo cookies. Um, what else has she done? I think she's done like a Pop Tart or something like that. But she deconstructed these foods to make it more not just more healthy, but like a gourmet version. And she started to create a name for herself, and she's no longer with Bon Appetit, but she now has her own YouTube channel, and she's now an author. And all started because of the show that she was doing on Bon Appetit. And lastly, I don't want to necessarily say that Justin Bieber is a vlogger, but he posted his some clips of his, when he was performing, and that's how he was discovered. And if you don't know who Justin Bieber is, then just Google him. But um, it's really mind blowing. Like he just started from YouTube, and people found him, and now he's a celebrity. It just goes to show you that there's possible opportunities by creating content. So podcasting. Podcasting is definitely one of the newer forms of content creation, even newer than blogging and vlogging, but um, it's the audio version of blogging essentially. But it takes the two a step further because it's more free flowing discussion in what's known as an episode. Your audience gets an even more intimate look at who you are. This is done through storytelling, interviews, and so forth. The difference here is that content can be passively consumed, and which means listening on the go or while doing some other activities like chores or exercising. And that's the true power of this medium. This all contributes to creating stronger bonds with your audience, which is one of the advantages that podcasting has over blogging and vlogging. Um, I'm not quite sure what the comment equivalent is, but I'd imagine that there's more of a direct line of communication, adding to stronger one to one relationships. This could be through email or some type of social media. But it's fairly easy to distribute these episodes via channels like iTunes or Spotify. And I know that there are a number of other ones to look into, but obviously those are two big names. But, again, if you have an episode or if you have your podcast, you can literally just upload it to one of the two and people can find you. So, Intro to Podcasting is also another class I've taught. So, if interested, check out the link that I have included on this slide. So, I'm going to skip popular podcasts. You can kind of take a look in Google for your own reference. The the form of content creation that I really wanted to talk about is live streaming because it's definitely something that I have learned a lot about over the last year. Live streaming is the newest of them all, and because of that, it's a little hard to digest, and more of the and something that I want to emphasize for the rest of this class. I'm not quite sure if my video is uploaded. I don't believe it is. But I also know that I added to the library blog about live streaming, and you can check that out on the slide. I have that link below. So, the way I see live streaming is that it combines the best of blogging, vlogging, and podcasting. I didn't quite see what the big deal was until the quarantine began, and I didn't know what the big I didn't necessarily get it either. But before I thought, why live stream when you can just record a video and upload? And live streaming is not static video to upload. It's real-time content and interaction, and that's the big difference. If you do things like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or even on LinkedIn, then you already have a working knowledge. But the game changer is Twitch by far. I have to say, live streaming on Twitch is probably the fastest of the four content creation platforms to monetize. Again, the fastest. And while that's only part of the appeal, it's not the only one. There are true benefits that you can take away from producing content and developing your audience. Very much like podcasting, your audience develops a strong connection to you. And again, in real time. The chat exists right next to your stream, and you monitor the chat while you are broadcasting your content. So streaming sessions are shows streaming sessions or shows are full of discussions, much like a social gathering. So you develop these bonds with others. Those in the chat develop bonds to each other. And in the context of Twitch, there's the app used in conjunction called Discord. If there were people, it's there where people continue to converse, exchange ideas, and build stronger connections with each other. There's something to be said about this model, and it's head and shoulders above the other platforms when creating the tribe that I was referring to. And this may be the most effective and fastest way to develop that. I just wanted to note a few things in my experience. I've met a lot of good people that I now call friends over the last year. And despite not meeting them in person, I feel I know many of them pretty well. It's all really fascinating. But again, this is typical of the tribe and what is required to capitalize on content creation. The group that I belong to is called Dance from Home. That's DFH for short. It's a DJ network that's worldwide. My friend and DFH creator Jeff is already monetizing through Twitch, and if he decided to take it to the next level by creating a business from it, it would probably be one of the easiest things to transition to. Because of our network, the tribe, I can say as a business student and being part of a small business that it's really easy to see where the business opportunities are for DFH and where it begins. Not just from the internal network, but the skills and strengths involved of all members. And I don't even know how many people we are now. It's definitely a couple hundred, something like that. Um, and yet, that's just one example. I wanted to mention another friend of mine who streams once a week. Her name is Julie, and she doesn't necessarily have a definitive subject that she addresses. This is slightly different from what I've been saying, but it's still fairly consistent when she says her streams are about nothing and everything. She has fun doing it, talking to us, and letting things flow organically, which really is part of the beauty of live streaming. On a funny note, another streamer friend fell asleep on his stream. People watched him and tipped him for it. So he got paid for sleeping on his stream. That should tell you all about live streaming and what it can be, especially on Twitch. It's through discussion that things can take a turn for the better or not, but I will advise that as a content creator to keep it on your preferred track. So when you are doing your show, you direct the flow of the session or the conversation. So if you choose to live stream, there's no better platform than Twitch right now. Before getting paid, you will need to fulfill some streaming goals, but to be frank, it's really not too difficult and doesn't take too long. In a matter of days, you can be earning. It's really mind blowing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll add our email address at the end. But especially if you explore Twitch and need help with initial streaming goals. So let me get to forms of monetizing. So there are a number of ways that you can monetize content creation online. Starting off with blogging, you can begin with things like Google Ads or something similar. Direct advertising with organizations, sponsorships, and referrals. I think most are self explanatory except referrals, which are through third party companies that compensate you for purchases that occur through the links they provide you. that is, to place onto your website. Many bloggers ultimately have a product to sell to their audiences, which changes their earning trajectory. Similar concepts apply to both vlogging and podcasting. And finally, YouTubers may also have a Patreon link, which is another way to support them monetarily. With Twitch in particular, they enable two things: one, bits, and two, subscriptions. Bits or biddies are like tips, while subscriptions are a set amount that span from 1 to 9 months. Um, with subs, your viewers have access to additional features that you determine as content creator. Again, you need to fulfill some streaming goals prior to enabling this feature. With Twitch, other users in the chat may give you a subscription gift to the streamer you're watching. Streamers can also set up a tip jar through PayPal and or similar services like Venmo or Cash App. But regardless of platform, to fully benefit from content creation is to start a profitable business. I've long known that it starts with a tribe and it develops from there. And that's what any of these platforms can do well. This is a completely separate discussion for another time. Content creation boils down to business principles, and to fully capitalize on it, it's a near foregone conclusion that a business is required. This is direct advice from internet thought leaders and is more of a conservative or smarter means to benefit. The exception, the internet superstar. While I wish everyone could be one, achieving superstardom should not be the primary goal. Just wanted to remind you that we all have to be smart with our resources like time and energy, and we all have to take care of ourselves first. To be a content creator requires a lot of work, and it can feel like a full time commitment at times, which is why I cannot emphasize enough that it should be something that you're truly passionate about. It makes the journey a bit more enjoyable while you build your brand. So again, the advisable approach. Achieving superstardom should not be the primary goal. Sharing something of value and developing and or improving skills should be. So, we don't need to do any questions or answers. And lastly, if you have any feedback, please feel free to visit the website and enter information into the form. And lastly, if you have any questions, again, feel free, especially about live streaming. But I do know the other three pretty well as well. That's Media Lab at lakeforestlibrary.org. If you want to visit us on our homepage and make an appointment for digital projects, including any of these content creation um, projects, visit us on the website. It's /Media Lab. Be sure to add us on Facebook and Instagram. We're definitely doing live sessions. Kristen and I at the Media Lab, we're not doing Facebook, but I know Youth Services is. And then we're doing Instagram lives. Um, for classes again and other uploads, visit our YouTube channel. And I know I have a few of my classes up there. I'm not sure if my most recent ones are, but yes, visit our channel LFK REF. And lastly, some of our upcoming classes. Liz is teaching how to sell stuff online on the 13th of April. I am repeating my class for iMovie on the same day. I believe that's at night, I think. But check the scheduling or check the calendar. And lastly, Kristen is repeating her nature photography class on April 16th. Again, if you have any questions about content creation, online content creation, I do have some other information and classes posted. So again, please feel free to reach out. And I guess that will be all today. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day. Take care, everyone.